talking about perfecting your pitch. So your pitch is kind of like your signature presentation. And again, this is all part of leading up to the WBENC National Conference, which we hope that we will see you all at in March in Denver. What we're going to be discussing are just some basic things about pitching. And I'm going to be repeating a couple of things over and over again, just because I want to make sure that you understand the importance of those different elements. So just a little bit about myself and especially about this picture. I like to use this picture when I make presentations because I want to remind everyone that it doesn't have to be perfect to be good or to be useful. And that's the same thing with your pitch. As you are presenting your pitch, maybe you stumble, the first couple of words, or you get nervous and you forget something, but that's okay. Nobody expects you to be absolutely perfect. And actually the more you practice, the more you'll be able to take care of the pauses and the stumbles so that you'll be much more confident. Right. So just, as Steph said, I have many years, and actually, Steph, I think you need to stop saying I've been working with women-owned businesses for over 20. Now it's over 30 years. So I have lots of experience with women-owned businesses and connecting them with opportunity. So today we're going to cover the elements of a great speech, or a great pitch rather, how to present the pitch, and then especially important, what to do and how to follow up after the pitch. This is one of my favorite quotes. It's originally the philosopher Seneca, but Oprah Winfrey has been credited with this quote. It says, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." So seriously, what you want to take care to do is to always be prepared, right? Because you never know when you're going to meet that right person that you could pitch your product or service to. The more prepared, the better the better the outcome. Right. So the elements of a great pitch. Before we go into that, though, I want to highlight these lovely people and suggest that you start watching Shark Tank. If you're not a Shark Tank devotee like I am, I think you can learn a lot from Shark Tank and the way people pitch and the reaction to the pitches based on the different characters and their preferences. So Mark Cuban likes to work with high-powered, high-level business owners. He is always impressed when the business owner said, "I risked everything. I sold my house. I lived out of my car. I risked everything. I put everything into this business." That absolutely impresses him. Barbara Corcoran is really known for just saying, "I don't trust you." She either trusts you or she doesn't trust you, and she'll make a decision that way. Damon John he's a softer approach when it comes to the investments. But he too started out of the back of his car selling t-shirts. So he appreciates, going all in. Mr. Wonderful is all about licensing and, a quick deal and a quick turnaround. So if you want to impress him, that's how you should speak. Lori Grenier, a bit softer as well. But she's the QVC queen, and she is also a quick decision maker. This will sell, that won't sell. This is how we can enhance this product. And then Robert Herjavec, I think is his last name. He's an immigrant from Canada, or by way of someplace else by way of Canada. And he is all about technology and all about the immigrant experience and understanding that in the US, the greatest thing is your ability to build something. I'm sharing all of this to reinforce that you need to know who you're speaking to, right? So the way you present to Lori is going to be different than the way you present to Mark Cuban, right? And be very aware of that as you're doing your research and preparing your pitch. You're going to say basically the same thing, but you might say it a bit differently. Okay, so keep this in mind. What do I want them to know? What do I want them to feel? And what do I want them to do? So those are really three distinct things, right? You want them to know about your business. You want them to feel a kinship or some kind of a partnership with you. And what do you want them to do? You want them to follow up. You want them to tell you, yes, I'm interested, and here is what I need from you. What are the elements? And we'll go through each of these individually. So who? As you're presenting your presentation, your pitch, you want to highlight your expertise. I've been in business for this many years. I bring this many years of expertise and know-how. The interest. Why are you doing this? What caused you to open up this business? Why are you still with it after 10 years, after 15 years? We all know that the entrepreneurship journey goes up and down, right? So why have you stuck with this? What is the interest that you bring, and how can you interest them into what you're pitching? And then finally, action. You always want to have some kind of action for them to take, right? To introduce you to someone, to consider it, to book a call with you, to allow you to pitch for longer than the 2 minutes, because that's really how long your pitch should be, especially in the context of a conference. You want to make sure that as you're queuing up during the exhibit hall portion of the conference, as you're queuing up to the Pepsi booth or the Pfizer booth or the Chevron booth, that you know and accept that you are going to have less than 2 minutes to make an impression with the person behind the booth. Okay, so in terms of action, what is it that's going to be the next step? Right? What has to do with, talking about the product or talking about the service. And as I mentioned, depending on who you're speaking with, you want to reinforce A, B, or C so that it lands directly and provides a solution, an innovative solution to the person that you're speaking with. And here about the product or service, you can talk about how long you've been doing this. You can talk about the innovations and the differentiators with others in the market. As far as where is concerned, you really want to talk and bring up the location, right? So are you a Florida-based business that knows the local market? We often counsel our members to take advantage of the fact that you're small, that you have a footprint in one area of the country where you might be able to help them do some additional marketing, where you might be able to partner and create strategic alliances. So that's always important. The scope, are you local? Are you national? Are you international? Are you a brick and mortar company, right? You always need to say that I have a storefront, or I'm an online business, or I, do specialty shows. However it is you sell your products or present your products is really important. And then as far as being an online business, I think everybody who has a website is an online business, right? So, and we have some information for you if you're interested in how to beef up your website and make sure that your website and your LinkedIn profiles look really great for the conference in Denver. So we can talk about that a little bit later as well. So keep in mind, if you have a website, you can consider yourself an online business. The when part has to do with when you started. If you're pitching to investors or potential clients, is this a project or a program that's ready to go? Or is it pre-launch? right? Especially when you're talking to investors. Is this something that is ready to that you're ready to present? I always like to say that it's important to convey the idea, the notion that you can customize something. People really appreciate that it's not cookie cutter, that it is something that you can tailor to their own needs. And as far as the when in your presentation, if you're a new business, but you've been in this industry, you worked for someone else, you um, were part of a corporation, you can say that you have this many years of expertise that you're bringing. I started this company 3 years ago, but I've been in this industry for 25 years. I started this company because I saw a gap. After 25 years in this industry, I realized that what we really need is XYZ. So I started my company, and that's what I have been doing. And I am at a point now where I want to go from B to C to B to B, right? I want to be able to meet with corporations. So that's kind of what we mean by differentiating yourself between so many years as a business owner and so many years of expertise in the industry. You could also say you were in a totally other industry and you realized that this is what was missing. And so you're bringing your expertise now based on relationships that you had, based on innovation that you have created, new products, new services from the other industry that can translate easily to this one. Right. So I'm how that this is all about the delivery. How do you do it? Is it online training? Is it in-person training? Is it are you manufacturing a product, and how are you getting it to them? Right. Um, the thing to remember, especially if you have a product as opposed to a service, is how are you able to help the person you're speaking to, market what it is you're doing to their end consumer. So the know and be prepared to answer questions about delivery. Is this something that you're ready to deliver tomorrow morning, or are you going to need to gear up? Do you need to create strategic alliances? Do you need to have XYZ in place before you start the delivery? Right. One of my favorite quotes as well: if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough, by our good friend Albert Einstein, right? So you need to be able to explain what you do and how you do it to a general audience, because unless you know exactly what the background of the person you're speaking to is, you need to be more general than specific. There's nothing worse than speaking in technical terms, in jargon, to someone who is not familiar with that, right? And one of the things that we always stress is to do your research before you get to the conference. So you're going to be at the WBENC conference. If you go on to the conference website, they already have the exhibit hall all mapped out. And you'll see that it's color coded by industry. You can look at the whole map, or you could search by industry, or you could search by key name. So I always recommend that you target 5 to 10 corporations that you want to meet with. Map it out so that you're not going from A to Z, and everything in between without a path or a pattern. And actually, WBENC, on the WBENC website, there's a program you can subscribe to, that helps you kind of map out from, going from here to there in the most efficient way. And what you need to do as well is try to figure out who is behind the booth, and connect with all of the supplier diversity people at the on LinkedIn. So if, let's say that you one of your corporate targets is Office Depot, well, go to the Office Depot site, OD Corporation, right? Go to their site, look at who is part of their supplier diversity team, and connect with those people on LinkedIn. You can send a message before you get to the conference thanking Office Depot for being a sponsor of the WBENC conference. Introduce yourself, connect with them. And it's, people love to receive messages of thanks, right? So you can, as you're connecting with them, say, I'm a certified woman business enterprise. I'm going to be attending the conference in Denver, and I see that you're a sponsor. Thank you so much for your sponsorship of conferences and opportunities like this that help women own businesses like myself. Sign your name, and that is it. Then when you're at the conference, maybe they recognize that you had reached out to them. Maybe they'll send you a message even before the conference, right? But even if they don't, that's okay. You've established a connection. Know who you're speaking to. So if you're speaking with the head of supplier diversity, that is different than the procurement officer in the corporation, right? The procurement officer in the corporation, they're assigned certain industries, certain products or services, and you can speak all the jargon you want to them because that's what they do. And they're the ones you want to build a relationship with them because they're signing the checks and, negotiating the contracts. The supplier diversity management team, they are your advocates in the corporation. And they work very closely with procurement so that when an opportunity comes up, the supplier diversity team can say, invite Nancy Allen and Associates to bid on this contract. She's a diverse supplier and she can provide us with some really great solutions. So you want to build a relationship with the supplier diversity team because they are your advocates. All right, so as far as the why is concerned, you want to really, again, why are you pitching this? I brought up again our friends from Shark Tank. Why? Tell Mark why he would be a really great investor. Tell Mr. Wonderful why you think his licensing deal is not for you, right? So you be very intentional about the why or why not, right? And it's really good to know who you do not want to work with. Kind of the kiss of death is if you go up to someone and say, I'm a woman business owner, tell me what you need. I'm pretty sure I can do it, right? They don't want to hear that. They want to hear that you've done your research and you have something quote unquote customizable for them specifically. You have a solution that you're bringing to them. These are two great books I love to read, and these are, I don't know, probably about 10 years old now, but they're really great books by Simon Sinek. Start with Why, goes through many different stories of how people buy things, why people buy things. So going back to the feeling, what feeling are you giving these people that is going to entice them to do business with you? And generally, there are 6 different types of solutions that corporations are looking for, right? One is a safety solution. If you or your business, your product or service can offer some kind of a safety solution to the corporate or their clients, right? So the clients of the clients, they really like that. They're looking for safety solutions. They're looking for training solutions. It's always a good idea to present how your training is going to be unique and is going to help them save some money or is going to make them safer or, whatever it is your training solution is. Efficiency is another solution that you can provide. How, based on your experience, based on other similar companies that you've worked with, how you've provided solutions, innovative and efficient solutions. Sustainability is always a really big challenge and a big opportunity to speak about how your product or service can provide sustainable solutions. It's also really important to let the corporation know, your target, your potential client, that you yourself are a sustainable company, that you yourself understand the importance of supplier diversity and inclusion, right? So you should have an ESG statement, you should have a sustainability statement and a cybersecurity statement on your website. We can talk about that after this presentation if you have questions, but always let them know that you are I always mess this adage up. You're walking the walk, the talk, or talking the walk, or whatever. But you know what I mean. It always let them know that what you're doing for them, you also believe in, and you are also subscribing to that. Right? And then finally, the sixth solution that corporations are looking for is a cost solution. Although a lot of corporations have told us that they won't necessarily go with the cheapest option. They will increase the budget or provide you, as you're negotiating with them, a bit more if you are offering them a solution that they absolutely need. All right, so start with why and find your why. Another really great book and resource. So as far as presenting the pitch, keep in mind that the most important thing in communications is hearing what isn't said. So watch the person's body language. And I can guarantee to you that if your pitch is longer than 2 minutes, the person is going to start fidgeting or looking beyond you to the people behind you in line or looking around. Pick up on that cue and end your pitch. Or say something like, I don't want to take up all of your time. I so appreciate you giving me this opportunity. What's the best way to connect with you after this conference? And end your pitch. Also, women tend to, we will repeat ourselves, repeat something until we get an acknowledgement that has been heard. So normally when I'm speaking to other women, I'm looking for them to nod. I'm looking for them to lean in. I'm looking for them to ask questions. Men generally don't do that. And so a lot of times women will continue to say something or repeat the same thing in different ways because they haven't received some kind of acknowledgement. So you don't have time for that in your pitch. Make sure that you're engaging, you're smiling. If you're nervous, go ahead and admit you're nervous. Say, this is the first time I'm going to this conference. This is the first time I'm pitching, but I think I have a really great solution for you. And here it is. And then you just go into your pitch. People don't expect perfection. They expect authenticity and they expect vulnerability, right? You don't have every single answer, and neither do they. But you can come together and provide a really good solution for it. Your elevator pitch, again, preparation, body language, and practice. That's really important. So you want to prepare the details, the who, the what, when, where, why, and how, and make sure that you can hit on those things in a way that is engaging and tells a good story, right? People will remember stories. How you worked with a similar client and you were able to save them X amount of money as far as training is concerned, or you were working with a particular client and you came up with an innovative solution for them that you think would apply to the person that you're speaking with, right? So you want to be sure to prepare the details. You want to keep in mind that body language and tone of voice, not the words, are our most powerful assessment tools. And this is from Christopher Voss, who's an extraordinary negotiator. So body language and tone of voice. There have been tons of studies done related to the way women pitch and the way men pitch. And regrettably, men more often will be given an investment, given an opportunity over a woman because she appeared nervous. And she appears nervous because she's speaking very fast. And when we speak very fast, our tone of voice tends to pitch, excuse me, will pitch higher. Men, when they're making a presentation, and again, I'm being very general, but take this advice, please. Men will slow down. They will stand their ground. They don't, usually their voice will pitch lower. Our voices will pitch higher. Their voices will pitch lower. And most of the investors, unfortunately, regrettably, still today, most investors are men. And so they will pick up on whether or not you're nervous. And they're not going to want to deal with a person who's nervous. So be very careful and learn to moderate your voice. And if you're nervous, find a way to slow down, because when you slow down and you speak from your diaphragm, your voice will, the pitch will go down. Okay, so keep in mind body language and tone of voice. Practice, practice, practice. So I always recommend that you practice in front of a camera. Just set your camera up and do your 2-minute pitch, and then take a look at your pitch. Listen to your voice. Look at how many times your eyebrows go up or down, how many times you lick your lips. A lot of times when people are nervous, their mouth gets very dry and their lips get very dry. And so they're licking their lips during a pitch. That gets to be really distracting, right? If you're blinking too much, that is also very distracting. You won't know that if you don't watch yourself. So watch yourself on camera, look at yourself in the mirror, but actually recording yourself is much better because you'll be able to pick up the different subtleties. So as far as the conference tips, you want to do your research. Again, there are going to be over 4,000 people at the conference. I believe there are over 250 booths at the WBENC National Conference. You're not going to be able to hit every booth, okay? And if you try to hit every booth, you're going to be exhausted and you're not going to be very effective. So choose 5 to 10. Do all the research you can on those 5 to 10 corporations that you want to meet with, and be prepared to pitch, right? We talked about the difference between supplier diversity and procurement. Keep that in mind. And you can ask the person behind the booth, are you part of the supplier diversity team or are you with procurement? You can also say, if you're meeting with supplier diversity, the procurement officer who handles marketing, who handles IT, who handles training, blah, 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 that's the person I'm looking for. Can you make an introduction, either there at the event or, at a later point? Amazon, if you go onto the WBENC website, the conference website, you're going to see the map, the booths, and Amazon has a huge booth. And that's because they are bringing a lot of their procurement officers. Okay, so if you're interested at all in doing business with Amazon, you might want to start doing some research to see who would you meet at Amazon that buys your products or services. The third bullet on this slide has to do with registering inside their portal. And yes, you are WBENC certified. Yes, you have access to WBENC Link, which is the database that houses all the 19,000 plus women just like you who have proven ownership, management, independence, and control of their companies. But every corporation also has their own database. So you need to register with them, because one of the first things you're going to be asked after you've been in line 10 minutes waiting to speak to the Office Depot representative or whatever corporate representative, the first thing they're going to ask you is, have you registered on our site? Are you a registered vendor or supplier? If your answer is no, you're going to be handed some papers with instructions on how to register. And they're going to look past you and say, thank you. Once you're registered, contact us. And they're going to shuffle you along. Whereas if you go and you can say, yes, I have registered as a vendor or supplier, and be intentional about how you use those terms, vendor or supplier. They mean the same thing, but sometimes corporations call you vendors, sometimes they call you suppliers. So be intentional about how you respond. Yes, I'm a supplier, or yes, I'm a vendor. Okay. You want to prepare a 30-second intro and a 2-minute roundtable pitch, right? So if you're, as a WBENC certified WBE, you have an opportunity to participate in the roundtable pitches, right? Which is basically the corporate representative and about 8 chairs around the table, and you're each going to get a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, depending, to pitch your product or service to that particular company. It's a huge room, and there are table signs that say, Pepsi's over here, Johnson & Johnson's over there, Chevron's over here. You'll get a map right before the event so that you can go and participate. And they are, I believe, in 25-minute rounds. The last bullet here is all about focusing on getting their attention. What is your differentiator? Of course, you're proud to be a certified woman business enterprise, but they know that because you're at the WBENC conference, right? So that's not a differentiator. They're expecting that. A differentiator could be your years of expertise. A differentiator could be that you know their industry because you've done business with their competitors, and that's okay. They expect that, right? And they're okay with that. And it just says, oh, well, they may be getting, the benefit of your experience with their competitor as something that you're bringing to the table. So pay attention to your differentiators. The fact that you are cost effective, they're really expecting that as well, right? So that's not really a differentiator. The fact that you have great customer service, not a differentiator. What is it about you, your story, your innovative ideas, your experience? All those things are the differentiator. And then follow up. So you've made your pitch, you stood in line for 10 minutes, and you met the right person at Amazon. And now what are you going to do? Right. So after you speak with them, let's say that they're nodding and they're saying, yes, we were looking for someone who can provide that solution for us. You take the lead and ask, okay, what's the next step? You could ask, what's the best way to follow up with you? Sometimes they'll give you their personal email address. Sometimes they'll say, I'm going to connect you with so-and-so, and that'll be a good way for you to follow up. Sometimes they'll say, let me walk you over here and introduce you to my colleague who can help you further. But don't forget to say, what's the best way to follow up? I also recommend not to follow up the day after the conference. They've been out of their office for a week. They probably haven't gotten to all of the emails that have been piling up, and your email requesting a follow-up meeting is going to get lost in the mix. The best thing to do is to wait a couple of weeks and then follow up. We met at the conference. I'm attaching my capability statement again for your reference. I have been thinking about how I can present this product or service to your other departments. You had mentioned that you would be willing to introduce me to one of your colleagues, blah, 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 right? But if you wait a couple of weeks, they've gotten back home, they have cleared their emails, they've gotten back into the rhythm of their days, and then a nice email following up from you will be better received. And especially if you start off by saying thank you for meeting with me, thank you for your support of women-owned businesses, thank you for your sponsorship. Start with a thank you. Ask for it and be prepared. This is the other thing that a lot of us get worried about, all discombobulated about. Yeah, that's not something that we're interested in. If you hear that, okay, just move on. You don't have to convince them right there that this is something that they are interested in, because nobody wants to be told they're wrong. Okay, so if you are presenting and someone says to you, well, yeah, we've already tried that and it doesn't work, or whatever excuse they give you, just say thank you. Thank you, I appreciate the feedback. And then move on. You can go back to them at a later point and ask for further feedback, or you can go back to them and ask that you be introduced to their prime. See, let's say you have a product or service and the conversation goes, well, yeah, we have somebody who's actually doing that for us. You can ask for a name if you think they're going to give you the name, and then you can do some research, and maybe you realize that that person is not a diverse vendor. That company is not a diverse vendor. You can then be asked to be introduced as a second tier provider, or as a business that can help the prime with their supplier diversity goals, right? Because all of the corporations that you're meeting at the WBENC conference have intentional and targeted supplier diversity goals, right? And they measure those goals, and they're always looking for ways to increase the spend with women-owned businesses. So if you present yourself as a second tier provider to a prime, ask to be introduced. Say, I'm a WBE, obviously, I'm here at the WBENC conference, and I have an interest in meeting your primes to see if working with me can help them meet the supplier diversity goals, right? So you want to be intentional about saying that. And you want to also be prepared for, no, we're not interested, okay? And don't let that ruin your day and think that, oh my God, nobody's going to be interested in my product or service. My ideal client said no. Just move on, okay, and go to the next one. How many times have these guys said, I'm not interested? Many times, right? And then afterwards, if you watch Shark Tank, you know that after the pitch, they watch the person, walk down the hall, and they are ecstatic that they got the investment, or they're kind of sad. And the men especially will say, yeah, they missed out on a really great opportunity because I know this product is going to do really well. So you have to be able to walk away gracefully and graciously. Don't forget to say thank you for your feedback, right? So this is a word that I love called blessin', and it's when you're able to view the painful lessons as blessings. In other words, a blessin' is what happens when you see the blessing in the lesson that your challenge taught you. So you're probably going to hear a lot of no's, okay? But as you develop a relationship, you will learn something from the no. You'll learn that either it was the way you pitched it, it was maybe you're speaking to the wrong person. You're going to learn something. And so take it in that spirit if the answer is thanks, but we're not interested. Right? Making adjustments based on the feedback that you get, that's always very, very important. And, you can see if you get halfway through your presentation and the person starts looking, beyond you, behind you, they start fidgeting, then you need to make an adjustment because your pitch is too long. Okay. Be willing to make adjustments. This is the same thing with your capabilities statements as well. You can, think you have the perfect capabilities statement. You get to the conference and people aren't understanding what you're saying, or, they're not reacting or whatever. Be willing to make adjustments. You don't have every single answer, right? Or you want to build a relationship so that you can show the person that, yeah, you're the right person to work with. So this is just a slide about, making adjustments and being willing to hear what's being said. So just a few words about the different types of pitches. And it's a really great idea to practice. You don't have to wait till you go to the WBENC conference. You could do pitching. You could enter different pitch competitions. And here are some resources. And this is a really great book, How to Win a Startup Pitch Competition, 12 Tips for Business Success. So it's got some really great ideas in it. Okay, so we covered the elements of a great pitch. We talked about presenting the pitch, and I shared some information on following up. All right, so WBENC does a national pitch competition, and this lovely lady in green, she's from Florida, and she won $50,000 as the national winner of the Pepsi pitch competition. And so here is the timeline. You've probably, if you've been around, you know that we've participated in the regional to national pitch for the last couple of years, and we hope that you will participate, because just putting yourself out there, just making the pitch will enable you to get seen and heard. Maybe you don't make it to the national competition, but locally, as we do our judging locally, you may, what you're doing may resonate with one of our judges, and you may end up with a contract. We always recommend that you do enter any pitch competitions. And again, our applications are going to open July 8th. All right. So as far as next steps are concerned, Steph, do you want to go ahead and come on and talk about this for us?
Yes. Hold on one second. I've got to, oops. Sorry, guys. Stop videos. Let me get, now my video should work. There we are. Okay, perfect. So thank you so much, Nancy. We've had a lot of great chats. We're going to get to your questions in just a second, but we also know that, there's oftentimes more help and support that you might be looking for following these sessions. And so we are really excited this year to, number one, announce that we are launching a new scholarship fund called our Women-Owned Business Global Growth Fund. This is something that has been something Nancy and all of us have been wanting to do for quite some time. And this year we're going to be ramping it up, and some more information will be coming out on how you can participate in this. So we are now offering training beyond these sessions. If you want to get Nancy, myself, or Diane one-on-one to actually go through your pitch with you, listen to it, provide feedbacks, give tips, resources. And this one, actually, you also send us your capability statement beforehand so that we have an opportunity to get to know your business before we get on and have the pitch call with you. So this is a very special session that we're offering for certified WBEs. We also are doing a similar thing if you want your capability statement. If you missed that session a couple weeks ago, we're offering a similar package to send us your capability statement, let us review it, have a one-on-one call with us where we get that all prepped and ready to go for the conference, or if you have a pitch competition coming up. So if you're interested in, by chance, participating in one of these sessions with us, please feel free to reach out. Then once we get that, then we send you a link to get some time scheduled with one of us, depending on how your schedule looks. And again, we are super excited because a portion of the funds for us charging for these things now will be going into our Global Growth Fund, which will be utilized for scholarships to help women with job development and training in the future. So we just are excited to introduce that.
Here's just some information on how to connect with that. We want to see you soar to success. That's our tagline and our goal.
So thank you so much for sharing all that information with us once again. It was a really great session.